I used to think the worst thing that could happen to a mother was losing her child. I was wrong. The worst thing is standing right next to your child every single day and watching someone else become his mother. Before we start, where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. I read every single one. My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm 32 years old. I have a master's degree in pediatric nursing, a husband I loved more than breathing, and a son named Noah who was the center of my entire universe. I also have a mother-in-law named Gloria who moved into my house 14 months ago to help with the baby and never left. And in those 14 months, she didn't just help. She replaced me. Systematically. Deliberately. Like she was following a blueprint. It started the way these things always start. With good intentions. Or what looked like good intentions. Noah was 6 weeks old when Gloria showed up at our door with 2 suitcases and a casserole dish. I was standing in the kitchen, wearing the same yoga pants I'd had on for 3 days, holding a screaming baby and a cold cup of coffee I hadn't had time to drink. I hadn't showered. I hadn't slept more than 2 consecutive hours in 42 days. My husband Derek was at work, as he always was, leaving me alone with a newborn who cried like he was being tortured every time I put him down. 2 weeks, Gloria said, setting her bags in the hallway like she already owned the place. Just until you're back on your feet, sweetheart, you look exhausted. I was exhausted. I was drowning. And when she took Noah from my arms and he immediately stopped crying, I felt something I shouldn't have felt. Relief. Sweet. Shameful relief. I let her hold him while I took a shower that lasted 45 minutes. I let her feed him while I napped for 3 hours straight. I let her rock him to sleep while I sat on the porch with a glass of wine and watched the sunset, feeling like a human being for the first time in weeks. 2 weeks, I told myself. Just 2 weeks. But 2 weeks turned into a month. Then 2 months. Then 6. At first, the changes were so small I barely noticed them. Gloria started buying Noah's clothes. "Yours are too plain," she'd say, holding up a tiny designer outfit I couldn't afford. "He deserves to look nice." She'd dress him in the mornings before I woke up. She'd pick out his pajamas at night. She'd lay out his outfits for the next day on the changing table like she was styling a magazine spread. "I thought you'd appreciate the help," she'd say when I mentioned it. "You're so busy with work." I wasn't busy with work. I'd taken extended maternity leave. I was home all day. But somehow, by the time I got out of bed, Noah was already fed, dressed, and playing in his bouncy seat while Gloria hummed nursery rhymes in the kitchen. Then she started feeding him. "He's not taking to your breast milk," she announced one morning, holding a bottle of formula she'd mixed without asking me. "Look at him. He's still hungry after you nurse. This will fill him up better." I tried to argue. I tried to explain that breast milk was best, that we were still establishing our routine, that I needed to nurse him to maintain my supply. But Gloria just smiled that smile of hers, the one that reached her eyes but never her soul, and said, "I'm just trying to help, Sarah. You don't want him to starve, do you?" She said it in front of Derek that night. He looked up from his phone, barely listening, and said, "Mom's just helping, babe. Don't be so sensitive. Don't be so sensitive." Those 4 words became his mantra, his response to everything. When Gloria started putting Noah to bed without telling me, Derek said, "She's just helping. Don't be so sensitive." When she started calling him my baby in front of me, Derek said, "It's just a figure of speech. Don't be so sensitive." When she rearranged Noah's nursery, moved the furniture, replaced the bedding I'd carefully chosen, hung new pictures on the walls, Derek said, "She has good taste. Don't be so sensitive." I started keeping a journal, not because I'm dramatic, but because I was starting to doubt my own sanity. I'd write down the things Gloria did, the things she said, the way she looked at me when Derek wasn't watching. I'd read it back to myself and think, this sounds crazy. This sounds like I'm making it up. But I wasn't making it up. Month 4. Gloria enrolled Noah in a Mommy and Me music class, without asking me, without telling me. I found out when I came home from a dentist appointment and found a flyer on the kitchen counter. "What is this?" I asked, holding it up. "Oh, I signed Noah up for music together," Gloria said, not looking up from the vegetables she was chopping. "It starts Tuesday. I thought you'd be relieved. It's one less thing for you to worry about. I'm his mother. I should be the one taking him to classes. You can come if you want, but you'll have to drive separately. The car seat's already in my car." I looked at Derek. He was scrolling through his phone, not paying attention. "Derek, did you know about this?" "Hmm? Oh yeah. Mom mentioned it. Sounds nice. She enrolled our son in a class without asking me. She's just trying to help, Sarah. You're always so tired. I thought you'd be relieved." Relieved. That word again. Like my motherhood was a burden someone needed to lift from my shoulders. I started going to the classes, sitting in the back while Gloria sat in the front, holding Noah, singing the songs, doing the hand motions. The other mothers looked at me with pity in their eyes. I could see them wondering, is that the grandmother? Why is she doing everything? Where is the real mom? I was right there. I was right there, and nobody could see me. Month 6. The first time Noah called Gloria, Mama. We were in the kitchen. I was making coffee. My third cup of the day, because I was barely sleeping and my nerves were shot. Gloria was on the floor with Noah building a tower of blocks. He was 10 months old, babbling constantly, saying Dada and Baba and Nana, but never Mama. Never once had he looked at me and said the word I'd been waiting to hear since the day he was born. He knocked over his block tower and started to cry. Gloria scooped him up, kissed his forehead, and said, "It's okay. Mama's here. Mama's got you." Noah looked at her. His tears stopped, and he said it, clear as a bell. "Mama." My coffee cup slipped from my hand and shattered on the tile floor. Gloria didn't even flinch. She just smiled down at Noah and said, "That's right, sweet boy. Mama's here." I was standing 3 feet away. 3 feet. And my son had just called another woman his mother. "Gloria," I said, my voice shaking. "Don't encourage that. I'm his mother. He needs to know that." She looked at me with those cold blue eyes. "It's just a phase, Sarah. All babies go through it. He'll grow out of it." "He's not going through a phase. You're teaching him to call you Mama." I'm comforting my grandson. If you were doing your job, he wouldn't need so much comforting. Derek walked in then, home from work early. He took in the scene, me standing over broken glass, Gloria holding our son, both of us glaring at each other. "What happened?" "Noah called your mother Mama," I said, "and she's encouraging it." Derek looked at his mother. She looked back at him with tears in her eyes, tears that appeared on command, like she'd been practicing in the mirror. "I was just comforting him, Derek. He was crying. I said Mama's here, like I always do, and he repeated it. I didn't mean to upset Sarah." "She's replacing me," I said, my voice cracking. "Can't you see that? She's replacing me as his mother." Derek sighed. The same sigh he always gave me. The one that said I was being unreasonable. The one that said I was the problem. "Sarah, Mom's just helping. You're too sensitive. She's not replacing you. She's supporting you. My mom raised me, and I'm fine." "You're not fine," I wanted to scream. "You're a 35-year-old man who still calls his mother every day, who still asks her permission before making major decisions, who still needs her approval to feel like a real person. You're not fine. You're broken. And you're letting her break our son the same way." But I didn't say any of that. I just cleaned up the broken glass and went to my room and cried into my pillow until I couldn't breathe. Month 8. Gloria started sleeping in the nursery. "Noah wakes up so often," she explained when I found her there one morning, blankets on the floor, Noah asleep in her arms. "It's easier if I'm already here. You need your rest, Sarah. You're looking so tired lately." I was tired. I was tired because I was fighting a war I didn't know how to win. I was tired because every time I tried to assert myself, Derek made me feel crazy. I was tired because I was losing my son inch by inch, day by day, and nobody seemed to care. I want you to sleep in the guest room, I said. That's your room. The nursery is for Noah and me. But he sleeps through the night when I'm with him. When you're with him, he cries. Because he doesn't know me anymore. Because you've made sure of that. Gloria stood up, still holding Noah, and walked past me like I wasn't even there. You're being paranoid, Sarah. Postpartum depression is real. Maybe you should talk to someone. I did talk to someone. I talked to my sister Lisa on the phone one afternoon while Gloria was at the grocery store with Noah. I told her everything: the clothes, the feeding, the classes, the sleeping arrangements, the mama incident. I told her about the journal I was keeping, the way Gloria looked at me when Derek wasn't around, the feeling that I was being systematically erased from my own life. Sarah, Lisa said, her voice serious, this isn't normal. This is emotional abuse. You need to get out of there. I can't leave. He's my son. Exactly. He's your son, not hers. And if you don't do something, you're going to lose him. I hung up the phone and sat on the couch, staring at the wall. Lisa was right. I knew she was right. But I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know how to fight someone who had spent 14 months convincing everyone, including my own husband, that I was unstable, that I was jealous, that I was the problem. Month 10. The day everything changed. It was a Tuesday. Gloria had taken Noah to music together, like she did every Tuesday. Derek was at work. I was home alone for the first time in weeks, and I found myself wandering into the nursery. Gloria's room. She'd taken it over completely. Her clothes were in the closet. Her toiletries were on the dresser. Her books were on the shelf. The room smelled like her perfume, lavender and something else, something sharp and medicinal. I sat on the floor where she slept and looked around, trying to find something, anything, that proved I wasn't crazy. That's when I saw it. A corner of leather sticking out from under her pillow. A diary. I shouldn't have read it. I know that. Reading someone else's diary is a violation of privacy, a betrayal of trust. But Gloria had spent 10 months violating me. She'd spent 10 months betraying every boundary I'd ever set. And I needed to know. I needed to know if I was crazy or if she really was doing this on purpose. I opened it to the first page, dated the day she arrived. Day 1. She's weak, exhausted, barely holding the baby right. This will be easier than I thought. My hands started to shake. Day 12. He stopped crying when I held him. She looked relieved. Good. Let her think I'm helping. Day 23. Bought him new clothes. She didn't argue. She's already giving up. Day 47. He called me Mama today. Sarah cried. Good. I dropped the diary, picked it up, kept reading. Day 68. She tried to take him to the park alone. I went with her. He cried the whole time until I held him. She gave up after 20 minutes. Day 89. Derek defended me again. He's so easy to manipulate. Just cry a little, look hurt, and he takes my side every time. I raised him well. Day 112. She wants me to move out. Not happening. The house is in Derek's name. She has nowhere to go. Day 156. He asks for me when he wakes up. Not her. Me. She sits in the corner and watches. It's pathetic. Day 200. He asked me to stay forever. I will. This is my family now. Sarah is just the incubator who gave birth to him. I'm the one who matters. I read the last entry 3 times. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the book. My vision was blurry with tears, but I wasn't crying. I was beyond crying. I was somewhere else. Somewhere cold and clear and absolutely certain. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't just helping. This was a plan. A deliberate, calculated plan to steal my son, my husband, my life. And Gloria had written it all down like she was proud of it. Like she was documenting a conquest. I put the diary back under her pillow exactly as I'd found it. I walked out of the nursery, down the hall, into my bedroom. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall for a long time. Then I started to plan. Not a confrontation. Gloria was too good at those. She'd cry, Derek would defend her, and I'd end up looking crazy again. Not an argument. Not a demand. Something else. Something she couldn't fight. Something that would hurt her the way she'd hurt me. I spent the next 2 weeks preparing. Quietly. Carefully. While Gloria took Noah to his classes and Derek went to work, and nobody noticed I was even there, I made phone calls. I opened accounts. I found an apartment across town. Small, affordable, furnished. I transferred half our savings into a new account in my name only. I packed a bag for me and a bag for Noah and hid them in the back of my closet, behind boxes of maternity clothes I'd never wear again. I didn't tell anyone. Not Lisa. Not my mother. Not a single soul. Because I knew that if I told anyone, they'd try to talk me out of it. They'd say I was overreacting. They'd say I should talk to Derek first. They'd say I should try counseling. Try compromise. Try one more time to make it work. But I'd tried. I'd tried for 14 months. And every time I tried, Gloria took something else from me. My confidence. My marriage. My son. Not anymore. The night I left, Gloria was sleeping in the nursery. Derek was snoring beside me, dead to the world, his phone face down on the nightstand. It was 2:47 a.m. I'd been awake for an hour, listening to the house breathe, waiting for the right moment. I slipped out of bed without making a sound. I crept down the hall to the nursery. Gloria was on her pallet on the floor, Noah asleep in his crib above her. I stood in the doorway and watched them for a long moment. My son, my beautiful boy, sleeping peacefully while the woman who'd tried to steal him from me snored softly on the floor. I didn't wake her. I didn't say goodbye. I just walked in, lifted Noah from his crib. He stirred but didn't wake, and carried him out of the room. In the kitchen, I grabbed the diaper bag I'd packed that afternoon. In the hallway, I picked up my suitcase and Noah's bag. At the front door, I paused. I could leave a note. Something dramatic. Something that would make her understand exactly what she'd done to me. But I didn't. I just opened the door, stepped out into the cool night air, and closed it softly behind me. My car was parked at the end of the driveway. I'd filled it with gas that afternoon, hidden the keys in my purse. I buckled Noah into his car seat. He woke up, looked at me with sleepy eyes, and said, "Mama?" Not Sarah. Not a confused look. Just, "Mama." Clear and certain. I kissed his forehead. "Yes, baby. Mama's here. Mama's always been here." I drove to my new apartment in silence. Noah fell back asleep before we hit the highway. I didn't cry. I didn't feel sad. I felt free. For the first time in 14 months, I felt like myself again. The sun was rising when I unlocked the door to my new place. It was small. One bedroom, a tiny kitchen, a bathroom the size of a closet. But it was mine. Nobody else's. Mine. And Noah's. I set up his crib in the bedroom, put his clothes in the dresser, made coffee in a kitchen that didn't smell like Gloria's lavender perfume. Noah woke up around 8, confused at first, then curious, then giggling as we explored our new home together. "Mama," he said, pointing at me. "Mama." "That's right," I said, picking him up and spinning him around. "I'm your mama, and nobody else." My phone started ringing at 6:30 a.m. Derek. I let it go to voicemail. He called again, and again, and again. By noon, I had 47 missed calls. Texts started coming in. Frantic, angry, confused. "Where are you? What did you do? Mom is hysterical. She can't find Noah. Sarah, answer your goddamn phone. You kidnapped our son. I'm calling the police." I turned off my phone and went to the park with Noah. We played on the swings. We fed the ducks. We ate ice cream for lunch because I could do that now. I could make decisions without someone telling me I was doing it wrong. When I turned my phone back on that evening, there were messages from Lisa, from my mother, from Derek's sister, from people I hadn't talked to in months. Everyone wanted to know where I was. Everyone had an opinion. I sent one text. To Derek. Short and simple. I'm safe. Noah is safe. We're not coming back. His response came immediately. You can't just take him. That's kidnapping. I'm his mother. I have full custody until a court says otherwise, and I have documentation of everything your mother did. The diary, the photos, the texts. Good luck explaining that to a judge. He didn't respond. Not for 3 days. On the 4th day, Gloria called. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up the phone. Curiosity, maybe, or the need to hear her voice one more time, to know that I'd actually won. Sarah. Her voice was different, cracked, broken. Nothing like the smooth, controlled tone she'd used for 14 months. Please, please come back. I didn't say anything. I just listened. He won't sleep. He won't eat. He cries all day and all night. He asks for you. He keeps asking for you. Does he ask for Mama? I asked. Or does he ask for Sarah? She was quiet for a long moment. He asks for Sarah. Because you taught him that. You taught him that his mother's name was just a word, that anyone could be his mama as long as they held him long enough. You wanted to be his mom so badly, Gloria. Congratulations. You are. Full time. No breaks. No Sarah to do the hard parts. Enjoy. Sarah, please. I read your diary, Gloria. Every word. I know exactly what you were doing, and I want you to know something. The only reason Noah is with me right now is because I chose to take him. I could have stayed. I could have fought you in court, documented everything, made your life hell. But that would have meant staying in that house, staying near you, letting you keep poisoning my son against me. And I wasn't going to do that. So I left. And now you get to deal with the consequences. Derek is devastated. He's barely eating. He keeps asking what he did wrong. He chose you over his wife, over and over and over again. He watched you erase me and called it helping. He heard our son call you Mama and told me I was too sensitive. He doesn't get to be devastated now. He doesn't get to pretend he didn't know what was happening. Sarah. Goodbye, Gloria. I hung up. I turned off my phone, and I held my son while he fell asleep in my arms, in our apartment, in our life. That was a month ago. Today, Noah and I are at the park. He's running around the playground, climbing the ladder to the slide, waving at me every time he reaches the top. Mama, look, he shouts. Mama, look at me. I see you, baby. I call back. You're doing great. My phone buzzes. A text from Derek. Can we talk? Please. I miss you. I miss him. I know I messed up. I know I let her come between us. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I read it twice. Then I type a response. I'm not ready to talk yet. Maybe someday. But not today. I put my phone away and watch Noah slide down the slide, arms raised, laughing. He runs to me, throws his arms around my legs, looks up at me with those big brown eyes that look exactly like his father's. Mama, he says, I love you, Mama. I love you too, baby, more than anything in the world. Gloria called again last night. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. 4 minutes of her crying, begging, promising she'd move out, promising she'd never see Noah again, promising anything if I'd just come back. I deleted it without listening to the end. Some people will say I was cruel, that I should have stayed and fought, that I should have given Derek a chance to change, given Gloria a chance to apologize, given my family a chance to heal. But those people have never stood in a kitchen and watched their son call another woman Mama. They've never found a diary detailing their own destruction. They've never felt themselves disappearing day by day until they weren't sure they existed at all. I exist. I'm here. I'm Sarah Mitchell, and I'm Noah's mother. And nobody, not Gloria, not Derek, not anyone, is ever going to take that from me again. The sun is setting. Noah is tired, rubbing his eyes, asking to go home. I pick him up, carry him to the car, buckle him into his seat. He falls asleep before we leave the parking lot. At a red light, I look in the rearview mirror at my son. His chest rises and falls. His thumb is in his mouth. He's peaceful. He's safe. He's mine. Lesson learned, I whisper, by both of us. And I drive home.